Good evening and welcome to Red Barn Radio. I'm associate producer and the host of Red Barn Radio, Brad Becker, and I'm here to welcome you to Red Barn Radio's 506th live performance. Tonight, Red Barn Radio welcomes Matty Simpson. I write what I see, says Simpson, with the trials of life as my inspiration. My songs are a canvas filled with love, affliction, and the hope that dwells between the two. Please welcome tonight's guest to the Red Barn Radio stage, Matty Simpson.
Thank you, guys. So glad you guys all made it out. My name's Matthew Douglas Simpson, like you said. Sometimes I play pretty good, sometimes I play okay, sometimes I play terrible, but that's rock and roll, and that's what this is all about. It's the way I like it. So hope you guys enjoy it. This one's called Whiskey Breath. Won't you kiss me on the neck with your sweet whiskey breath, so sweet I could die. While brush fire of a smile, honeysuckle on those lips, the taste of summertime in your kiss. And I breathe you in, fever in, yeah. Like a southern breeze through the pines, so carefree, fancy and fine. A little bit of whiskey, a little bit of wine. And I breathe you in, fever in, yeah. And I breathe you in, fever in. So won't you kiss me on the neck with your sweet, sweet whiskey breath, so sweet I could die.
Please welcome to the Red Barn Radio stage Kentucky artist Matty Simpson. Simpson's brand of rural route rock and roll connects with music fans across genre lines. Road trip tested and music snob approved, Matthew Douglas Simpson's every bit the hard-headed, sharp-tongued, scarred, knuckled, romantic trailer park troubadour needed in this world of formulaic, plastic, auto-tuned swill. Tonight we're very pleased to present a concert performance of Matty Simpson here on the Red Barn stage. Give him a big welcome again.
This song's called Chances Are, and chances are I'll screw it up. Chances are I'm living way too fast. Chances are I'll live to regret my past. If you don't take a chance, don't risk it all. That ain't no kind of life at all. Chances are chances are chances are I'll drown it all on a bar stool. And chances are I'll find some grace in a church pew. My mama always said you're bound to fall. It's how you get up, son, that makes you strong. Chances are chances are chances are chances are chances are chances are I'll make mistakes and act a fool. And chances are I'll do a few good deeds or two. If you don't play a hand, don't roll the dice. Ain't nobody gonna cut you a slice. Chances are chances are chances are chances are chances are well, I made my bed, I called my shot. Believe me, gave it all I got when I took my chance on you. When I took my chance on you. Yeah, chances are chances are chances are chances are chances are I'm living way too fast. Chances are I'll live to regret my past. Well, I grew up in Cynthiana, Kentucky, in a trailer park. And my mom, she used to always say it takes a village to raise a child. My dad passed away when I was 9 years old, so Mom had to do a lot of working 3 jobs. So in my case, it took a whole trailer park to raise me. So I wrote a song about it. It's called It Takes a Trailer Park. Some people say it takes a village, but it took a trailer park to raise me right. Clothesline swinging in the backyard, hide and go seek behind the propane tank, skinned up knees and grass stains on my jeans. Climb a tree to the tippy top, sipping LA, every last drop. Oh, maybe one day we'll buy ourselves a double wide. Football in the neighbor's yard, bicycle tires with baseball cards. Tomorrow we'll start right where we left off. The Fall Guy truck and the General Lee, a few Hot Wheels was all we needed. Cops and robbers and drinking from the hose. Buckeye fights and dirt-clawed wars, breaking green beans on a good friend's porch. We'll have a catch when Dad gets home from work. Climb a tree to the tippy top, sipping LA, every last drop. Oh, maybe one day we'll buy ourselves a double wide. Football in the neighbor's yard, bicycle tires with baseball cards. Tomorrow we'll start right where we left off. Climb a tree to the tippy top, sipping LA, every last drop. Oh, maybe one day we'll buy ourselves a double wide. Football in the neighbor's yard, bicycle tires with baseball cards. Tomorrow we'll start right where we left off. Tomorrow we'll start right where we left off. Tomorrow we'll start right where we left off. Well, I'm in the studio right now working on a new record called Bluegrass Blues. I'm hoping that it'll be done sometime around October. This is the title track off that. It's called Bluegrass Blues. And it's just about hard times in a small town. So I hope you guys like it. Started out with nothing, I still got most of it. Pinching dimes through the hard times with nothing to show for it. I've seen hungry eyes trade dreams for lies to a suit with a pitch and a smile. Watched a daddy's land slip through his hands like grain sifting out of your palm. Can you see it now? Fading now. Can you hear it now? And here come the bluegrass blues. Well, here come the bluegrass blues. And it's so easy to lose. Well, here come the bluegrass blues. This old town will run you down, leave you beaten and barely alive. She'll push your pills and promise thrills, and strip you of all of your pride. And can you see it now? Faded now. Can you hear it now? so easy to lose. Here come the blue, grace blues. And here come the bluegrass blues. Here come the bluegrass blues. And it's so easy to lose. Here come the bluegrass blues. Well, what set would be complete without a song about your hometown? This one's called Cynthiana. Take me home to Cynthiana. Take back roads all the way. I don't need no directions. My heart knows the way. So lay me down in the fields that kept my family fed. Watch the evening brushstrokes paint the sunset red. And I'll know I'm coming home. Tell my mother I'm coming home. Tell my sister it won't be long. The roads are gently weeping. I'm running against the wind. I've learned my lesson. I'm coming home. Take me home to Cynthiana. Where maiden smiles light the way. Their eyes like stars against the canvas of night. Mama, I'm coming home to stay. Tell my mother I'm coming home. Tell my sister it won't be long. The roads are gently weeping. I'm running against the wind. I've learned my lesson. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. So tell my mother I'm coming home.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Red Barn Radio, and our guest this evening is Matthew Douglas Simpson. I think he says he'd like to go by Matty, that only your mom and your grandma maybe, or somebody who's scolding you, your sister, calls you Matthew. So this is Matty Simpson.
There you go.
And he is living, I think, now in Georgetown.
Yep.
But if you were listening to the last song, brought up in Cynthiana, and we're glad to have you here with us, Matty.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here.
Really enjoying your music and your songs.
Thank you.
Let's start with your Cynthiana years. How long were you in Cynthiana?
Pretty much my whole life. I grew up there. We just recently moved to Georgetown, me and my wife. So I moved in and out of town a few times, but for the most part, I was always in Cynthiana.
Okay. And you said your dad passed when you were pretty young.
Yep, in '94, I was 9 years old.
Okay, so you were in fourth grade, maybe?
Fourth grade, yep.
Was your dad a musician?
Yeah, he sang bass in a gospel quartet, and then he played bass. Him and my uncles would sit around and play, and that's where I kind of got it from. Just singing and playing instruments, it was always just there.
So they put instruments in your hand when you were a little kid?
Pretty much, and until it got so bad that they'd take it away. Because I'd just jump right in, but I couldn't do anything.
So now parents, we take away kids' cell phones and their
Right,
iPads and
yeah.
stuff, and back in the day they'd take away your musical instruments.
Pretty much.
Can't imagine it. Did you? So you were you living in the trailer park at that time?
I lived in the trailer park till I was in about sixth grade. So yeah, my dad passed away then, and like I said, Mom would be working sometimes 3 jobs, and the people in the trailer park, pretty much whoever could babysit. Or if I had friends, I'd go hang out with them. So
Yeah, so you have pretty fond recollections then of childhood.
I do, yeah.
And that environment. Interesting to contrast that a little bit with the neighborhoods that kids live in nowadays.
Well, these days, I think trailer parks get a bad rap. At least the one I lived in, it was like a lot of new people moving to the area, so they would kind of live there for a while and rent there for a while until they found a place to go. So it was a lot of families with kids, and I don't remember having a bad experience. I'm sure there were some, but nowadays people think it's this taboo thing, and these people that live in trailer parks are trash and things like that, and that just wasn't my experience.
Yeah, well, good. So fast forward then into your high school years. Were you a well-behaved high schooler?
I was, because my mom worked in the cafeteria in most of the schools that I went to. So it seemed like I think she planned this out. When I was in elementary school, she worked in the cafeteria, and then she was in the nurses' station. And then middle school, miraculously, she ended up there too for a while. And then as soon as I get to high school, I was like, finally, I can start to cut loose a little bit. Like, semester into ninth grade year, she wound up at the high school. So I kid you not, my mom was always around, and she always found out.
Now, you have siblings?
I do. I have a sister who's 19 and a half years older than me, which was awesome for me, because those times that I did get in trouble, I could call my sister and say, how much trouble am I in? And she'd be like, well, you're in trouble, but this is what I would do. So she had a little experience to give me. It was good.
After high school, did you go to college?
I went to Cincinnati Christian University for a year.
Okay.
And then, again, my mom, she was living in the country at the time, and she was having trouble with her bills, having some hard times, and I just decided to move home, get a job, and try to help her keep her house.
What kind of job did you work?
Everything, man. I think at one time I've done construction. I've worked in tobacco all my life, pretty much, growing up. And then I polished brass and silver here in Lexington a little bit. Anything I could do. Always was working.
And at what point were you starting to develop a sort of affinity for playing, and you know you grew up with music, but at what point did you start to feel like, hey, I think I've got something here?
Really, I grew up loving to sing. I was, like I said, my dad was in a gospel quartet, so every weekend I was being drug all over, you know, the southern states to go see him sing and hearing those harmonies and whatnot. I always just loved singing. Then when I got to high school, I realized high school was almost over, and all my outlets to sing, like choir and things like that, were coming to an end. So I decided maybe I should play the guitar so that I can continue to sing. So I started teaching myself guitar, and then I fell in love with writing songs. I'd always, when I was a kid, was always singing melodies and coming up with little words or whatever, and then finally, once the guitar came, it just all came together. I like the writing aspect more than any of it.
Did you imagine at some point that that music would be a ministry for you? And the reason I ask that is because I see in your bio that you did some biblical studies and that you actually were ordained.
Yep. I'm an ordained minister. I currently work at a church. I'm a worship minister. That's just a fancy word for I do the music at a church and just playing all that. But that was kind of, in Cynthiana, being in a small town, one of the best places to cut your teeth playing instruments was at church. One of the best places to be able to have a place to sing was at church. So that's really where I got a lot of experience. And it's always a good place because no matter how bad you are, everybody's going to tell you did a good job. So it helps with the confidence building.
So you're a Christian songwriter, but not necessarily a writer of Christian songs.
I played in a Christian rock band for 6 or 7 years. We toured all over the United States, had songs on the radio, loved it. But there was something in my heart that sometimes I feel like Christian music's not as honest. It's like super vertical, like we're always talking about happy things, and I kept seeing a lot of bad, and nobody was bringing light to it, except for like the Hayes Carls and the David Ramirez's and the Jeff Tweedies, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to write music that brought hope, but in order to do that, I feel like we have to put some kind of light on the negative things that are going in our world. So that was kind of how this started. I wanted to write honest music, and I've been asked several times, you're a minister and you play this kind of music? And my answer is always like, somebody has to be honest. This is the culture we live in, so let's write about it.
All right. Yeah, I don't know that I guess I'd have to say this is the first time I've heard a Christian songwriter singing about or fantasizing about, whiskey breath on the neck.
Well, I wrote that song after I read a book. Contrary to popular belief, Kentuckians can read, and we do have shoes. And I don't know, there was something about that book that made me write that song. And that's really where it came from. So,
we're loving it. It sounds really good, and the songs are very honest. And I'm with Matty Simpson here on Red Barn Radio this evening. Matty's from Cynthiana, and he's living in Georgetown now. He is working on an album called Bluegrass Blues, and we've got a whole evening of music with you. So
great.
Let's welcome back Matty Simpson.
Thank you. This is a road trip song called Virginia. Mountains and meadows filled with sweet southern air. Mile markers in moonlight, wailing's on the radio. Gas station coffee, still got a long way to go. And I'm hoping by sunrise I'll be knocking at your door. And oh, Virginia, but I'm coming home. Yeah, Virginia, home to your arms. Well, I'm headed for state line on them sweet Virginia roads. Dark hair and honest eyes, her smile shines like the sun. Well, I've been waiting for the right time to tell you you're the one. In Virginia by sunrise, I'll be knocking at your door. And oh, Virginia, I'm coming home. Yeah, Virginia, home to your loving arms. Well, I'm headed for state line on them sweet Virginia roads. And oh, Virginia, I'm coming home. Yeah, Virginia, home to your arms. 'Cause I'm headed for the state line on them sweet Virginia roads. One day I was sitting around and I was thinking about life, and then I started to think about death. I've seen a lot of it in my life. Both of my parents are gone, but I hope that one day when my kids grow up, hopefully, I was like, what can I write them about my life? And I hope that my life is like this. As of right now, it is, and I hope that it stays that way. I just wanted to write about all the good things that are going on in life, so that when I go, everybody knows that I lived it to the fullest, and I want my children to know that. So this is a song called Lay Me Down Easy. Blanket me with roses, cover me in earth. Lay me down easy, Lord, when I've had enough. Set free my soul when I'm old and full of days. And in my robe of white, I will fly away. So lay me down easy, Lord. lay me down easy. Lay me down easy, Lord. Lay me down easy. Ease my worry, be still my heart. I live my life like a winding wheel right from the start. So lay me down easy, Lord. Lay me down easy. Lay me down easy, Lord. Lay me down easy. If I could, you know, I would always be around. And just like Jericho, your youth comes crashing down and down. When you live to love, you learn that your life was worth the fight. So don't wait for tomorrow, you'll only waste tonight. Lay me down easy. Lay me down easy. Lay me down easy, Lord. Lay me down easy. Like we talked about, my dad passed away when I was young, and I was just sitting around at the coffee table one night, which is kind of how my process is when I songwrite. I just sit at the coffee table with a pen and a pad, and I start strumming. And this song came out. I just started to think about all the things that I could remember about my dad, because I could remember some big things, some big moments, but when your dad dies when you're 9 years old, it's hard to remember some of those small details that you want to remember, you know, that you want to be able to see. So I sat down and I compiled all of the little things that I didn't ever want to forget about my dad, and I wrote a song. It's called English Leather. Daddy was a simple man, a pack of Camels and a pocket t-shirt, unless he's trying to quit, then it's Wrigley's instead. Well, I grew up just watching him work, how he treated people, man, he saw their worth. You never paid up front, no, a handshake could be just fine. Gasoline in his veins, English leather on his skin, left on tan, no mechanic's grip. He had Pontiac muscle and Cadillac class, worked too hard, drove too fast. He always had time to sing bass in the Good News Quartet. Gasoline in his veins, English leather on his skin, left on tan, no mechanic's grip. Gasoline in his veins, English leather on his skin, left on tan, no mechanic's grip. He passed back in '94, oil on his hands and a worn-out heart. To me, he'd always be the king of Haviland Lane. Gasoline in his veins, English leather on his skin, left on tan, the mechanic's grip. Gasoline in his veins, English leather on his skin, left on tan, the mechanic's grip.
Hey, all right. We are back, folks, to part two of Red Barn Radio. Our guest tonight is Matty Simpson. Red Barn Radio is broadcast here from the Performance Hall at Arts Place in Lexington, Kentucky. We're so glad to have you with us. Let's welcome back, please, Matty Simpson.
Thank you very much. This next one's called Slow Dance Records. We slow danced while the floorboards creaked, the needle skipped, but we didn't miss a beat. And I remember how I held you as the music wrapped around, the curtains blowing softly back and forth in the summer breeze. We danced. So put your prettiest dress on, and we'll dance all night. Just keep those records playing, and we won't stop till it's light. We dance just like a dream of two hearts played in tune, the rhythm our love made, the time could not consume. When we danced, we danced. So put your prettiest dress on, and we'll dance all night. Just keep those records playing, we won't stop till it's light. We won't stop till it's light. I had a best friend growing up. His name was Johnny, and we went to school together, went to church together, and we kind of lost touch after he moved. He moved all the way to like Olive Hill, Kentucky. So we kind of, we kept in touch as best as we could. But over the years, you kind of fall away. But out of the blue, one day he calls me and he's like, "Man, let's get dinner one night." So I go out with Johnny, and I had no idea that he had been married that he had had a son. I didn't know any of it. And then he told me that his wife was killed in a car accident. And the night kind of took an abrupt turn, and we got to talk, and I got to just kind of love on him after several years and be there for him. But he said something really profound. He said that night was the coldest night. He said there's nothing ever colder than her side of the bed. So I went home and I started to think about those words, like what is the only thing colder than the weather is her side of the bed. So this one's called The Only Thing Colder. Barefoot in the fields, I wait for you, remembering all the times I had with you. The spring turned to summer and the summer turned to fall. Well, I wish I'd known that by December you'd be gone. It was the coldest winter that I've ever had. Wishing you were there to warm my bed. Oh, the only thing colder than the weather outside was the bed that I laid in on the day you died. We were married in the field where I first kissed you. Tears flooded my eyes when I said I do. We laid you in the ground just a little afternoon, until death do us part never came so soon. It was the coldest winter that I've ever had. Wishing you were there to warm my bed. Oh, the only thing colder than the weather outside was the bed that I laid in on the day you died. It's the coldest winter that I've ever had. Wishing you were there to warm my bed. Oh, the only thing colder than the weather outside was the bed that I laid in on the day you died. Oh, oh. This is kind of a tough song for me to sing. This last year, a year and a half, I've lost two really close friends to heroin. I'm sick to death of that stuff. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing it hurt my friends, take my friends from me. So I sat down and I tried to understand it from their point of view, and I wrote this song. It's called Misery. Misery coming down like an avalanche, sweeping through the streets, calling out your name till you answer back. Downtown, shining in, but it's just as black. Secret stretching out like a shadow from behind the mask. And all I need is misery. Honestly, sweet misery. Hard street candy, married to the high. Pleasure in the vein, numb the pain away, ravaged in the night. And all I need is misery. Honestly, sweet misery. I won't come down. No, I won't come down. All I need is more. All I need is more. And all I need is misery. Honestly, sweet misery.
Whew. It's all right. You know, you're taking some tough subjects,
Yeah.
but you're treating them right, you know?
Thank you. I try to treat it with as much respect as I can.
Yeah. So do you feel like you understand, do you feel like you have some understanding of what it is that causes people to fall into despair and, you know, addiction and...
Absolutely, I do. I've told people this for years. I said if it wasn't for God putting some people in my place, I could have gone down that path just as easily. There's been several times in my life where I've gotten so dark and depressed, and all I wanted to do was go out and do all those things.
Scare away the feelings.
Get rid of it. Numb it all however I could. And if it wasn't for a few key people that just came up in my life at the right time, I could have easily been doing that or dead.
And were all of the people you refer to who came along at the right time for you people from your sort of church background, or people who came to it from that perspective?
Yeah, I had several people from church. My mom and dad were heavy into church, so when we were having tough times, they would gather around us. But also just people that have been through it, addicts that have come through on the other side, been through recovery, just seeing what they've gone through. And I used to write songs with a guy named Josh Brown, and he's battled his heroin addiction for years. He was in Full Devil Jacket back in the day, opening for Creed, and then he was in a Christian rock band, and then he did heroin again, and then it was just a roller coaster for him. And just writing songs with that guy gave me a whole nother perspective of, you know what, there's hope here. we can get through these things. Just because this life throws a bunch of junk at us doesn't mean that it all has to be negative, that we all have to focus on that. So I try to focus on the hope that is in that affliction, the strength that comes from all those things.
So you talked earlier on about when you were a young person and you decided at some point that you really felt like you wanted to write songs. There's a lot of people who want to write songs, but it doesn't mean they necessarily know how.
Right.
Who taught you how?
I wish that I could say that I had mentors. My mentors were the records. I'd listen to my parents, like I said, my sister's 20 years older than me. My parents were born in the 40s. So I was getting all their music, 50s, 60s, 70s. Then my sister was born, and her music was the 80s and the early 90s, and mine was kind of the late 90s on. I just got bombarded with music of all kinds of different subject matters, different genres. My dad would be listening to Merle, and Mom would be listening to the Beach Boys, and Kim would be listening to Journey, and somehow this happened. I just draw from that, but some of my favorite songwriters are Hayes Carl, Ryan Adams, David Ramirez. Those are kind of guys that I tend to fall into, I guess.
Yeah, those are some good ones.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
well, on the flip side, there are people who have a lot of training, and sometimes the training gets in the way.
Yeah.
You have an approach that's fairly simple. It's sort of straight ahead. Is that something you feel like you got from the people you listen to, or is it also just some of who you are?
I've always been a very observational person. I've always just noticed the little details in things. I've always kind of kept those in the back of my mind for some reason. And then when I started writing songs, those things started to just pour out. I was always interested in, I grew up working on farms and things like that. And sometimes when I was on a break, I would just be sitting there listening to what was going on in the woods or whatever. I wanted to know what the woods looked like and sounded like. I used to write songs. I would sit down to practice, and I would say, I'm going to write a song about a tree. And I just write they're the worst songs in the world, but I just wrote about details because I was trying to hone that craft in. And I view my music almost as a representational art painting, only I'm trying to do with words.
Listeners, you are getting a terrific workshop in songwriting from our guest this evening, who is Matty Simpson from Georgetown, Kentucky. Matty, I did want to mention, the song, one of the songs I listened to this afternoon was the song with the terrific title, the Love, Truth, and Oxycontin.
Yeah.
I thought you really got deep into something there, and it was really powerful for me. Tell us about where that song came from.
Well, like I said, I write what I see. So sometimes that might be my surroundings, but a lot of times it's people telling stories, or they'll say a line that I think is profound, and I'll go home and expound on it. But in this case, most of this story all comes from this lady. My wife and I were having a yard sale one night, and she comes in, and there's two kinds of people that come to yard sales. There's the weirdo that wants to buy like your 50-foot telephone cords and stuff that you're just like, why do you need that? We don't even need it. We're here to take it for a nickel. And then there's the people that don't buy anything at all, and they want to tell you their whole life story while they're there. That lady wanted to tell us her whole life story. I just happened to be sitting there with a guitar, and I was like, you're telling this to the wrong person, because the whole time she's talking, mentally I'm writing it down. And she was telling me just a heartbreaking story about her son and how he had married a girl, and they loved each other, and they had a kid together, and then she got addicted to OxyContin, and she had been battling it, ODing, and he was thinking about leaving her to protect his kid, and every time he would try to leave, she would threaten to kill herself. And so he was trying to love her and take care of his kid and do all these superhuman dad things. But the whole time she's stealing his money and then telling him that, she'll help him look for it. All these things came out in that story, so I wrote a song about it.
You play that song for us this set? All right, great. Matty Simpson is with us this evening, and he's from Georgetown, Kentucky. Writes some great songs. We're having such a nice time. And he's going to play then his song for us, Love, Truth.
Truth, Love, and
Truth,
Oxycontin.
Love, and Oxycontin. Yeah. It's Matty Simpson. You're listening to Red Barn Radio.
She says she won't see tomorrow if I leave her today. I'm trapped between two outcomes I don't want. I'll go crazy if I stay. So tell me a story. Tell me a story about truth, love, and Oxycontin. Truth, love, and Oxycontin. Honey, are you just high? Are you in love with me? Are you just high? Are you in love with me? Steals my money one day and helps me look for it the next. I go along thinking today she'll change. Man, I know it's insane. So tell me a story. Tell me a story about truth, love, and Oxycontin. Truth, love, and Oxycontin. Honey, are you just high? Are you in love with me? Are you just high? Are you in love with me? Truth, love, and Oxycontin. Truth, love, and Oxycontin. Honey, are you just high? Are you in love with me? Are you just high? Are you in love with me? This next song is called Bones and Brass. And I don't know we were driving a couple times, me and my wife, and I kept seeing when houses burn down, like old houses from 200 years ago, they always leave the fireplace left. You ever seen that when you're driving on a back road? You just see no house, the foundation's still there, and just the fireplace, the brick fireplace is still in the middle of nowhere, just standing there. And I was just like, I wonder why they do that. I never really went into it and found out, but I wrote a song about it, just about how sometimes all that's left is the fireplace. This one's called Bones and Brass. And all that's left in the ashes of you and me is bones and brass and old memories, desires purged in the flame and the fire. My sins have quenched our love. Did all I could do and I said all that there is to say. This old house would have burned anyway. Lies like effigies etched in the muck and the mire. Well, my sins have quenched our love. The flames grew high and wide, and we were still asleep inside. It was too late when we breathed it in. The fireplace is all that's left, stands as a monument, never to burn again. All that's left in the ashes of you and me is bones and brass and old memories. This is one of the first songs I ever wrote. Like I said, some of my family comes from eastern Kentucky. I have never been in a coal mine in my life, but I've got a lot of family that has. Once again, I tried to put myself in the mindset of them and hear some of their stories about how they're always we're just going to leave. We're going to quit this mine one day and we're going to move to the coast. So this one's called Nickels and Dimes. And whistle, oh whistle, won't you blow? Your sound is so sweet when you've been shoveling coal. Oh, I breathe in this coal dust one last time, and I'm leaving, yeah, I'm leaving this town far behind. And whistle, oh whistle, won't you blow? I'm punching my card one last time. I saved up my nickels and all of my dimes, and this whistle for me is the end of the line. And whistle, whistle, won't you blow? I'm packing my bags and headed for the coast. Oh, I've done my time in them old coal mines, and I'm leaving, yeah, I'm leaving this town far behind. Well, whistle, whistle, won't you blow? I'm punching my card one last time. I saved up my nickels and all of my dimes, and this whistle for me is the end of the line. Whistle, oh whistle, won't you blow? I'm packing my bags and I'm headed for the coast. Oh, I've done my time in them old coal mines, and I'm leaving, yeah, I'm leaving this town far behind. He said I got time for a little extra song here, so I'm going to do one that's not on the set list. It's called She's Got Something, and this is for the ladies. She's a mover, she's a shaker, she's a real go-getter. Yeah, when she walks in, I know got something good. She's got a tongue like a razor, and she'll cut you, boy, if you ain't careful. But she's as sweet as can be if you are on her good side. She's got it all, she's got it all. She's got everything I want. She's got it all, she's got it all. Yeah, she's got something. She's got eyes like a laser, so don't you dare try to deceive her. Yeah, 'cause if you lie, she'll know, she'll see right through. She's got it all, she's got it all. She's got everything I want. She's got it all, she's got it all. Yeah, she's got something. She's got it all, she's got it all. She's got everything I want. She's got it all.
Over Matty Simpson. Matty Simpson. Hey, let's welcome back Matty Simpson for one more tune before we leave. Matty Simpson. Thanks, Matty, for being with us.
Thanks for having me. You know what they call songwriters like me in Nashville? Waiters. I wrote this song for all my friends who are in Nashville and they come home crying. This is called Tennessee Tears. Thank you guys for coming out. Got a box full of Tennessee tears, saved them up after all these years. Got a box full of Tennessee tears. I remember all the stale beer nights, the clubs, the dives, and the marquee signs. Turned our backs to the past, but in time we found a way to sneak up behind. Big talk and lazy promises. Talk is cheap, that's what my mama says. We're down on our luck, we're too proud to beg. Stubborn as fools, scratching to stay. Got a box full of Tennessee tears, saved them up after all these years. Got a box full of Tennessee tears. Bobby slinging ink down on Broadway for Billy Joe. Zach left town about a year ago. Donnie did some time down in Abilene. Moved to Baton Rouge with a Cajun queen. He's got a box full of Tennessee tears. He saved them up after all these years. Got a box full of Tennessee tears. I don't talk a lot about those days anymore. I'm just out here trying to walk that line. Headed home, I'm Kentucky bound. Brad used a rope, found his way out. You gotta have something to leave it behind, but all I got is these reasons why. Got a box full of Tennessee tears, saved them up after all these years. Got a box full of Tennessee tears. Got a box full of Tennessee tears, saved them up after all these years. I got a box full of Tennessee tears. Got a box full of Tennessee tears.
Thank you guys so much.